Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Donaldson and I'm a Customer Success Specialist here at Cisco. In today's how-to video, we're going to talk about how to use DHCP along with option 43 for discovering Catalyst Center automatically in iOS XE devices. So what is DHCP option 43? Well, it's a special vendor-specific option that has been configured in the DHCP specification, which is detailed in RFC 2132. If you're interested in looking at the actual documentation for it, the link is listed right here on the slide. It's a customizable option that both servers and clients can use to exchange vendor-specific information with each other during the DHCP exchange. And for Cisco's implementation for this specific use case, we use a semicolon delimited ASCII string that defines the plug-and-play server, the protocol to be used, the port number to be used, and some other information as well. So let's break down the different components of the option 43 string. In the first segment, we have 5A1N followed by a semicolon. Now this specifies 4 different sub-options or configuration items that give the device specific information about what type of option 43 string this is. The first is the sub-option that specifies plug and play, and that is the number 5. It's followed by an A for active operation. There's also an option P for passive, but active indicates that the device should actively reach out to the plug and play server. The number 1 denotes that we're using version 1 of this protocol or this process. And the letter N denotes not enabling debug information. If, though, you wanted to see a little bit more detailed information on the command line of a device as it's going through the plug-and-play process, you could substitute a D instead of an N in this segment of the option 43 string. The next segment is B2, and this tells the device what type of address to expect for the PnP server. So there are really 2 options available to you here. B1 would indicate that a host name will follow for DNS resolution, and B2, which is the default option, would indicate that an IP version 4 address is going to follow. The third option is K4, which is also the default configuration, and this specifies the transport protocol to be used to establish communication with the plug-and-play server. So K4 would indicate using HTTP, which is unencrypted, for the initial communication. And you should always specify option K4 because although K5 is an option, and that would tell the device to initiate a connection over HTTPS, there is quite a lot of additional configuration that would be needed and some additional infrastructure that you would have to have available in order to provide the certificates to the device itself before it initiates that plug-and-play communication. Remember that in order to establish a secure connection to Catalyst Center, the device has to trust the SSL certificate that Catalyst Center provides, and it doesn't trust it implicitly out of the box. The next option is a capital letter I, and it's always a capital letter I, and it's followed by either the DNS host name or a fully qualified domain name, or the IP version 4 address of the plug-and-play server. And then the final option is a capital letter J, followed by the TCP port number to use along with that transport protocol to initiate the connection. And because HTTP is the default option and should be the one that you always use, the TCP port number will almost always be 80 in this case, unless your Catalyst Center server is listening on a different port number than 80 for HTTP communication. All right, let's take a moment and cover the lab topology again before we jump into our demo. So much like the previous demo that we ran through for using the bootstrap file option, again we're going to use the same lab setup and we'll be using a Catalyst 9500-16X to attempt our plug-and-play discovery of Catalyst Center. However, in this instance, we have disabled the connection to the Gigabit Ethernet 00 management interface, and instead we're going to be using the default VLAN 1 through the front panel ports on the device. Now it's important that we disconnect the connection to the Gigabit Ethernet 00 interface because if it is left connected and it obtains a DHCP lease when the device comes online, the device will actually prefer the lease that comes into the Gigabit Ethernet 00 interface over VLAN 1 in any of the front panel ports. So if you have both of them connected, you'll find that it always prefers the management interface for plug-and-play discovery. So now the next part here is that the VLAN 1 switch virtual interface, or SVI, exists on the upstream 9300 switches that the 9500 is connected to. Also, those switches are hosting the DHCP server and the address pool that will be servicing this plug-and-play environment. And that DHCP server has the option 43 ASCII string configured on it. And finally, as always, the Catalyst Center server is in a separate shared services network, and so it will require inter-network routing to get from this device to Catalyst Center. They're not on the same layer 2 domain. All right, let's jump over to the demo. On the left side here in our text file, I've got a configuration snippet of what the configuration looks like on that upstream 9300 switch. We have the DHCP pool configuration here. We have something called an IP DHCP class, which I'll explain in a moment. And we have the IP address information applied to the SVI for VLAN 1. So if we dig in a little bit to the DHCP pool here, you can see we're using the network range of 172.16.2.0 with a 192 subnet mask. The next line down, this is the important one. This is DHCP option 43. Let's go back to our configuration file here, and we'll talk about the DHCP class. So here you can see we've specified in this pool a class called Cisco PnP. That's the name we've given it. And inside that class, we've specified a range of IP addresses to give out to any DHCP client that matches the requirements for this class. So what are those requirements? Well, in this next line down, you can see that we've created this IP DHCP class named Cisco PnP, and we've configured it to inspect incoming DHCP Discover messages from clients. And each one of those clients in its Discover message needs to include option 60. And inside option 60 should be a text string that starts with Cisco PnP. Now this caret symbol is simply a regular expression symbol, and it just means the very beginning of the string. So it's saying that our string in option 60 must start with Cisco PnP, and then anything could come after that. What we're doing effectively here is applying an access list or an access restriction to this DHCP pool. And this is a strategy you might use if you're sensitive about the idea of enabling DHCP services on your management network. This will limit any leases that are given out to only clients who are sending option 60 with this string contained in it, and that is baked in by default into the plug-and-play agent in Cisco iOS. And finally, we have our VLAN SVI for VLAN 1, so our gateway is going to be 172.16.2.1. And then we'll go back to the switch, and we'll run the factory default command, which is PNPA service reset. Then when we're asked to confirm, we type yes and hit return. So this process is going to take quite a while, and what we'll do is fast forward through it while you're watching, and then we'll pick up again as soon as this is done. Okay, so the process is done, and you can see that the switch has now shown up in the plug-and-play portal in our Catalyst Center server. So the first and most important one here to focus on is that we've acquired a DHCP lease using version 4 on VLAN 1, and it shows our IP address, the interface it's on, VLAN 1, and it also shows option 43, what was sent in that DHCP lease. Additionally, you'll see this warning here that entering enable mode will stop PnP discovery. So we can monitor this process on the console CLI, but we really can't enter into enable mode. We can hit enter on the keyboard and end up in the user mode, but if we try to go to the enable mode, it will actually stop plug and play. The next messages we see here is that the PnP agent has actually discovered the Catalyst Center server, so it attempted a connection and was successful. And then we start to see lots of log output about what it's doing. One of the first things it's doing is, again, connecting to the PnP server on port 80. And then it's downloading the file, which would be the certificate that's needed for the HTTPS connection. And then finally down here we can see that it is attempting to reconnect over port 443, which indicates that we're now using HTTPS. All right, well that concludes our demo. So if you'd like to learn more, you can visit our YouTube channel for additional content. And I also have links here to some documentation covering the DHCP process for plug and play and resources for the plug and play feature itself. Finally, if you're really interested, once again, we have the link for the RFC 2132 documentation so that you can go and look at that, and it gives you much more detail about the options available in DHCP. Well, thanks for watching.